Ladies and gentlemen, just like William Regal, we are back. We are back. We are back. We are back. Welcome back to It's Showtime. As your host, the Matt Weinberg. As always, joined from what looks like the back of a club. Always, it's Showtime. Mr. Showtime, how are you doing today, sir?
Well, you know, the Matt Weinberg, that you are right. I am in Club Showtime right now, as always. You can never go wrong with that. Because anytime that you're in the presence of the Mr. Showtime, everything is going to be all right. Just so y'all know. And I'm great, Mr. Weinberg. How are you, sir? How you been doing?
Brother, I'm good. I'm just exhausted. My regular job is retail, so Black Friday was pretty crazy, and then for some reason my corporate decided to make a visit 2 days after Black Friday.
Oh,
so yeah, it's been a long week, but I'm caught up on the news. I'm caught up on my feelings. I'm enjoying a nice cold brewski right now to relax a little bit, and we're gonna hit it hard.
I like where you're going with that, man. Your skin looks great, by the way. I don't know what you're doing over there for skincare, but it looks amazing. You're glowing.
I'll talk to you after about my super secret skincare routine.
That's good to know. All right.
Yeah. It's an ancient Jewish secret. Only me and Paul Heyman know.
That makes sense because, you know, Paul Heyman has really good skin. The hair thing, a little bit shaky. But the skin's good. Skin's good.
Yeah. So my luscious hair is just because of my Latvian heritage. So shout out Latvia. We're proud. So the one question I do have for you is, how much is the cover fee to get in the Club Showtime?
Oh, I mean, it starts at $100, man. You know, you can't even get in without $100, man. Like, this is how we do it. We're exclusive. Only the best of the best and the rich can get in. So, you know, you ain't got it. I understand. You got to stay at home. You get it for free, though, Matt. So you ain't got to worry about that. You pull up anytime you want to.
Oh, I don't worry. I'll pull up to Club Showtime whenever.
Yeah. You always on the list.
I love it. So as I alluded to in the intro, it is being reported that William Regal is back in WWE. This was kind of started with him talking negatively about AEW and the whole MJF situation. And then during the Survivor Series War Games, we actually got William Regal on WWE TV in a promo talking about War Games and just him going, "Welcome to War Games." It's War, just like he's done with NXT for the last couple of years. Is this a good move? Do you think that this is just drama being played out? How is this going to affect MJF, which I think he's already moved on to bigger and better things? And what is a NXT less William Regal or William Regal fueled main roster look like?
Hey, man, I think really it's a great thing for William. And the reason behind that is because you guys got to remember, his son is in NXT right now. First of all, his son is a badass. So if you have not seen him, definitely got to go watch him. But I think that there's so much more that William Regal can do while he's in the WWE that AEW just is not going to hand for him. You know, like, I think the MJF thing was great. He served his purpose. But let's be honest, the Blackpool Combat Club, first of all, none of them are from there but Regal. It doesn't really make sense. Doesn't add up. You know, the times he had in AEW, I think, was just because he wanted to get paid, and I respect that. But now that Trips is back over, WWE, it's time to move back over to home where he should be. I don't think he needs to go main roster. I think he needs to stay. I would love to see a program with him and his son together, ride that out, then move up to the main roster together. The only time I need Regal to be at a main roster is just to say, War Games. That's the only time I need him. The only time I need him is just for that. There's nobody else like that, and it just did not feel the same to not have Regal say that out loud. So it just wasn't the same as having him live saying his War Games. Like, we need that. So I'm super excited and pumped for him to be back. I cannot wait to see what he does. Regal has shown over and over and over again that the man is a legend in the game, and he will always be one of the best promos out there.
Cool. Yeah. I would like to see if they put him back in NXT as a manager or something like that. How that will play into with his son being there. Like, does he just immediately strap a rocket to his son because he's his son, and uses that authority figure, if you will, to make that happen? I think that can be something interesting there too. So yeah, I'm in full agreement. Welcome back to WWE, Mr. Regal. Very excited to see what's going to happen with that.
What do they do Well, they do that. Like, they put him in and do that page spot where he goes and he's with like his son for about 6 months to a year. He pops up into the main roster and immediately goes after the United States or, belt or the Intercontinental belt. Like, his son is good. I mean, his son has been around the game for a very long time. The guy is really good. He knows what he's doing. He can show up anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, I don't doubt that. They could possibly do that. It's very interesting. I don't know if they'll ever have someone like Paige do that. I mean, Paige or Soraya now, you could always say is a prodigy.
Yep.
Like, she was wrestling from the time that she was in diapers, in a way, and that whole entire story means a lot. And I guess you could say the same for William Regal's son, in a way, just like you could say the same thing for Randy Orton, Randy Orton's kids, and that aspect. But I tend to want to believe that you only get that type of talent once in a generation, and that generation was Paige.
I got you. That's fair.
I think that next generation that we see would be like Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch's son or daughter. Like Charlotte, well, depending on how many kids they have and all that sort of stuff, so it would be like Seth and Becky's kids or Charlotte and Andrade's kids, like, if that is the plan or if that does happen in the future. Like, I think that's more the generation that we Sorry, what?
What about baby wrestling? If you haven't seen yet, Triple H just did the point to the Gargano baby. Yes, baby wrestling.
Yeah, and so speaking of baby wrestling, Johnny actually posted on Instagram a picture of his kid, like, holding the North American title belt, like, trying to reach for it. Mm-hmm. And he's like, man, he's only like 40 days old and he's already going after it.
Hey, when you're Johnny wrestling, you got to be there. I mean, you cannot not be there.
I mean, we can even see that, like, if the Miz and Maurice have kids, you could even see that would be the next generation. If we had ever gotten the fact, like, if we'd ever gotten a Nikki Bella, John Cena kid, or when we see Daniel Bryan, Brie Bella, like that sort of stuff, like, that is that next generation that will start seeing these things come around. Like, we've already had the Cody Rhodes, we've already had the Paiges, we've already had the Randy Ortons. Like, that was the generation before this generation. So we have a lot of stuff to look out for, like great wrestling talent coming together and then having kids. So the future looks bright, if you would.
Yeah. Owen's coming up. That bloodline is about to be thick again, man. There's a lot of them still coming. There's a lot of them in the baby stage. I don't know if anybody's a teenager yet. Maybe Jimmy, his kids might be a little bit older now. I can't remember their ages, but like there's a whole another bloodline coming still to go as well. So
I mean I don't think you will ever see a day of wrestling without the Anoa'i family.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, Roman's got like 15 kids now. Jay and Jimmy probably got like 15 kids. Like, Solo probably just getting started. He'll probably have like 15 kids. And I mean that because, like, big families is common in that culture, So it's one of those things. Like, I feel like every day The Rock's got a new cousin, which is great.
And the Rock's daughter, she's just.
So, yeah, I mean, she made her debut. She's been doing a great job with Schism. I think that, and it's good for her. I mean, she's doing her own thing. And, you even have Tamina, you have Nia Jax, you have all these people as a part of that family that could have children that will eventually come in. And maybe we should play this out and do a little, WrestleMania 2045 or 2050, we can dream match, Baby Rollins versus Baby Rhodes, something like that. So maybe we can figure out something how to do that, because definitely want to start moving into other subjects. And I've already said the name a couple times, but rumor is that we will probably be seeing Randy Orton retire. It's unfortunate news. It's sad news, but he had to get back surgery, and I think they fused 3 of his lower vertebrae together. Okay. So there's been updates on rehab and stuff like that, but it's not looking good to where he can come back in the capacity that he has been in. How much of this is a heartbreak to not only the fan base in the WWE universe, but to the company and to the storylines?
I think really, man, this is a big blow. When you look at it, Triple H retiring for what he had to, that was tough. But I think for Randy, it's a different situation because, when we look at Randy, anybody in their 30s, like 35, 36, 37s, that Randy was our boy. Like Randy came in and he was the LeBron James or the Michael Jordan of that era. And, when you look at where he was going to go, him versus Riddle, dude, that was going to be phenomenal as well. I think that I don't know if we'll ever see another Randy Orton like that in the company ever again. But, I hope that even if he can't come back and wrestle, he can come back in some kind of capacity to train, because I think that he's one of those people that if I had a person that could train and I could pick somebody right now for me, Randy would be one of my top guys that I would look to, man, because there's just nothing like him. I don't care if you like him, you don't like him. You have to respect the history and the career that he's had, because it's been amazing for him. And that RKO will go down in history as one of the greatest finishers to ever come through the WWE.
Yeah, I mean, think about it in this way. We're now seeing all the talent that we grew up with starting to enter that retirement. Their bodies are beat up, that sort of stuff. I mean, thank God and thankfully the times of the people that grew up for us didn't do the hard drugs and the hard partying and stuff like that. So we're not seeing them die like we did, like we have in the past generations.
So
that is kind of.
We talking about like the Shawn Michaels and stuff.
Hey, you a little older than me. You closer to 40. I'm closer to 30. So.
I'm about to say, you talk about my generation, man. Like, I mean, all of them were just as bad. Like, we had Shawn Michaels all the time. You got to remember Razor Ramon.
I mean, now even think about it this way. Yeah, but now even we got to think about it this way. Think about that first OVW class that WWE took on. You had Randy Orton, Brock Lesnar, John Cena. Like, we will never see that type of talent come in and just get, here's the ball, run with it. And again, we're probably going to have to wait for the next generation to now see that come to fruition again. And it's, as a fan, it's depressing. As someone that is in the industry, it's a huge blow to that business in a way, and we wish him all the best. Hopefully there is a recovery on that, and we'll be able to see him, maybe not this year, maybe not next year, but, somewhere down the line, come back for a one-off. I think we'll definitely miss out on a Matt Riddle versus Randy Orton blow-off. We're definitely never going to see a continuation of Randy Orton versus Bray Wyatt, which I don't think ever really concluded. So you have a couple different things there that unfortunately we're not going to see. But going from one potential not return to a huge return, Cody Rhodes is looking fantastic. Cody Rhodes' recovery and rehab is going absolutely fantastic. And it kind of goes along with the second major story that I want to talk about was a apparent dirt sheet leaked a Royal Rumble entrant list, and that includes Cody Rhodes.
Okay.
That includes Jay White. That included CM Punk coming in at number 30.
Oh, that would piss a lot of people off, but I'm here for it.
So, it literally said in the sheet, like, CM Punk comes in at number 30, but they weren't able to make that happen due to contract situations out of their control. And from the looks of it, it looks like AEW is not buying out his contract, and we'll see him eventually back on AEW TV. So I want to save that conversation for probably next week, and I want to save that conversation maybe for an extra episode. Maybe we can bring in a couple people as well. Because I'm really starting to think that wasn't a shoot. It was definitely a work, and everyone got worked. But like I said, I don't want to spend too much time on that. What I do want to spend time on is, what do you think about this leak? Have you seen it? And what do you think about the possibility of Cody Rhodes coming in? It did leak that Cody Rhodes was supposed to win the Rumble. As well as seeing people from New Japan on there. Jay White is a huge name.
Yep.
That dropped. Like, that is going to pop just like AJ Styles popped. The US and WWE hasn't seen someone like Jay White. That is very interesting. That Jay White's coming. You know, you can hopefully see Okada coming. You can hopefully see that door being open. Getting more Bullet Club members in, getting like a Marty Scurll, stuff like that, who kind of bleeds back and forth between the ROH and the New Japan and that sort of stuff. So what do you think the overall thought process on this leak is? Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Do you think now they have to step up their game to match this expectation of this match? Or do you think that they're just going to, cool, people already know what it is, here, let's just give it to them?
I think that is a big thing. So I know that Chris Jericho was on the list to be in the Royal Rumble this year from AEW, but they wanted Jon Moxley. And because they couldn't get Jon Moxley is why they didn't have him come. So I'm not actually surprised by Jay White. I'm not surprised if anybody outside comes in, because I do know that Triple H has that door open and he wants to do that. You look at where the Great Muta and, you know, Nakamura is coming from. So I know that that's a big thing. But I actually think it's a really great thing, and I really hope that this pushes them to do a lot better. Because I believe, guys, if you haven't looked at the ticket sales for the Rumble, it's damn near already sold out. Like, legit. Like, the last time I looked, there was like 2,000 tickets left. So, like, they're not playing. This is going to be a huge Rumble because your boy Showtime wants to go to it. So, you know, at the end of the day, I think that they have to do something really big. Here's where I think that we're going to see where that list either goes one way or the other, and it's based on The Rock. If The Rock is coming in, I think that Cody doesn't win. If The Rock's not coming in, then I for sure think Cody wins. And I think that's how you kind of have to go right now. You're waiting to see what happens, because if that's the case, I think Cody's the next one to go up against Roman Reigns if The Rock cannot make it.
But here's the thing. Do you think you need The Rock to be in the Rumble in order to make that jump? One, and two, if there is two titles, now keep in mind, if Roman were to drop one title, let's say, and I think that should be the plan going forward, you still need a Rumble to face off the other champion, because if you win the Rumble, you get to choose your champion, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
So that's a two-part question. Like, do you need someone to win that Rumble? And if it is one person, does it need to be The Rock?
No. And this is, so if I was booking this and I'm Trips, this is how I look at it. I'm going out to The Rock. I'm calling The Rock. I'm saying, hey, dude, I need to know now. Like, before the week before Rumble, I have to know where you're at, right? And then when The Rock tells me yes, then what I do from that is I let somebody win. I pick, let's just say Cody, somebody, right? I don't care at that point. I let somebody win, and then I figure out how The Rock takes their place after they win. That's the way I would go. I don't think you need him in a Rumble, and the reason you don't put him in a Rumble is because of how big this Rumble is going to be. You don't want to kill it. You want to wait it out. If The Rock comes into Royal Rumble, first of all, he would have to be 30 because he's not going to be in shape to run a really long time, and you already know
100%.
You know, and so why do that when we can get there later? You know, I got about 4 or 5 months to really play with it. So if Cody's my guy, I let Cody win if that's the way to win. And as soon as The Rock says I'm in, I'm 1,000% in, The Rock goes after Cody. Now you figure out how to get The Rock over on Cody. He takes that and you run with it. Or you go a different route and you figure out how to get one belt off Roman. I just, at this point, cannot see a way you take a belt off Roman and still make it look good unless you take both of them off of him before The Rock. Like, it just doesn't make sense to let him lose one belt, and how are you going to make him lose? Somehow to make him lose, you're going to have to put the bloodline in there, and I don't think we're pulling the trigger on Sammy just yet to make that happen. I think that makes it way more complicated. You're smiling. Is that a good thing or bad?
Thank you for opening the segue. May I ask permission to go off for a moment?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
So there's something that I noticed during Survivor Series, and it's not what you're expecting me to say.
Okay.
I don't think the bloodline turns on Sammy.
No.
I don't think Sammy turns on the bloodline. I don't think it's Jay or Jimmy. There is one person I'm looking at, and that name is Solo Sikoa.
Okay.
If you remember correctly, how they brought Solo along was that he was sent by the tribal elders. Right?
Yep, I'm following you.
Who is a tribal elder? Who would be a tribal elder to the tribal chief?
I mean, you got a couple of different ones, man. Are you thinking Rikishi Rise? Is that the route we're going?
No.
Okay, which route? Who are we going as the elder?
Rock the Dwayne Johnson.
Oh, this is a conspiracy. I like it.
Is the elder that sent Solo Sikoa to infiltrate the bloodline, get in good, because if you know anything about Solo and Roman as real people, they went years without speaking. Roman is not as close to Solo as he is with Jimmy and Jay in the grand scheme of things. So you could set this up to where The Rock sent Solo in, and here's where I'm going to get you. Okay. Solo's the one that can screw Roman over and literally look at him deadpan in the face and go, I did it for The Rock.
I mean, I think you're deep, man.
That sets up everything. And here's the thing, is if you pay attention, go back and look at Survivor Series. Did Solo look happy that they won?
It's true, he did not.
And I get that could be his face. I get that could be his face, that could be his attitude, that could be his character, that could be whatever it is. But when Jimmy, Jay, and Sammy are all smiling and they're throwing up their ones, Solo's staring like this. 1, 2. You want to know who Roman was looking at the end of the match? Wasn't the wise man, wasn't the opponents, wasn't the Usos, wasn't Sami Zayn. He was dead staring right at Solo Sikoa and wondering why he wasn't throwing up a 1. I can guarantee that.
So you're getting deep, man. I don't know, man.
So,
I don't know about this. Getting deep.
let's. I know you got a house full of NXT regulars there, so you can totally let them hear my idea, and we can bring them in, and we can run this back. But I'll give you a couple days to think about that. I'll give you a couple days to think about the whole CM Punk Brawl Out scenario. We can run this back next week because
Sure.
I've been thinking about that since Survivor Series, and I think that could be a direct way into doing it. That is long-term storytelling. Because I think Sami Zayn is the easy way out. And are you really going to have the Bloodline turn on Sami just because he turned on Kevin Owens? Like, Sami's literally going to be alone again, which is the whole entire reason why he decided to go into the Bloodline, because he needed friendship. He needed someone that was going to have his back. He needed to feel like a family because KO was gone. They've had their battles back and forth too. So it's like, yeah, they've been best friends. They were best, friends at each other's wedding. Same thing with Sheamus and Drew McIntyre. They talked about that a week or so ago before Survivor Series, how Drew was Sheamus's best man at Sheamus's wedding. So this can get deeper levels of all that. And if you're really trying to build this as a tribal chief, as a ancestral thing, as a family thing, you have to make it about family. And I'm not going to say it anymore because then Vin Diesel's going to come out of somewhere and just go family. But I'll bring it back to, I think, 2 episodes or 3 episodes ago where I said, you don't need any of the title belts on that Roman versus Rock match. You can make it strictly for head of the table, head of the Anoa'i family, head of the greatest wrestling family of all time. You don't need a championship belt. So you can have Solo, for lack of better words, screw Roman out of a championship match so someone else can have the belts, or bring it back to an idea I had earlier of have him in the ladder match, have him come down with 1 belt, have another person come down with 1 belt, i.e. Seth Rollins, so he can go against Cody, and then you have Roman only having 1 belt. I think that's the only way that you can make him lose a belt without making him lose both belts. But they need to get both belts off of him, in my opinion.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Matt Weinberg, and this is why he's great. Appreciate you. The It's Showtime audience, thank you for letting me speak my piece. Comment down below and let me know how insane I am or if I'm right. Would greatly appreciate that. Find us on social media because I'll probably post this on social media. This is the clip I'm going to take. So best thing, dude.
It's probably just.
I'm not gonna lie to you, man. That's a badass storyline. I don't care what anybody says, whether it happens or not. If it does happen, I'm a freak out. I'm gonna mark out at that point because that is how. So anybody listening that is trying to figure out how you do long-term booking, guys, the Matt Weinberg just gave you a class on how you do long-term booking. That's a mic drop. You should leave that. You should have left that for the end of the That's a mic drop.
Look, man, I should have left it. I should have left it for the end, but I was super excited. I've been thinking about this since Sunday, and honestly, like, I didn't watch Monday Night Raw. I haven't really watched wrestling since then, so I don't really know what's going on. This work, like I said, has been absolutely crazy, and even to the point where, like, our group chat for wrestling, like, I haven't really been answering because I've been so busy. So I haven't been able to get this off my mind, and I haven't been able to get it off my chest. And you gave me the opening, so I took it. So just like in every single episode, Hunter, Paul, Triple H, Dad, if you're listening, my DMs are open. Let's talk long-term storytelling, or let's just talk. I'll come on as a writer. My grammar probably isn't the best, but you can see I have a voice for radio. And I could definitely hang out on the bump, maybe some up, down, down.
Yep.
I definitely would. I would definitely tell Dominic that he shouldn't have beat up his dad for putting up the Christmas tree too early. But that's besides the point. So, but yeah. So while we're sitting here talking about Survivor Series, let's dive into it. Again, first and foremost, apologies. We did not do a prediction show with the hurricane and with Black Friday and stuff like that coming up. We just didn't have time to do that. But as well as I'm pretty sure Showtime is like 3-0, and I just couldn't lose again.
Which you would have lost again.
So no, I mean honestly, I think the only match I would have gotten wrong was going to be the women's Survivor Series match. And yeah, so let's get into it. So let's start off with the women's Survivor Series match. You had Damage Control, Nikki Cross, and Rhea Ripley versus Bianca Belair, Asuka, Alexa Bliss, Mia Yim, and a returning Becky Lynch. Now, speaking of long-term storytelling, they set this up back at SummerSlam for Becky to come back because this whole entire feud started with Damage Control beating up on Becky and Bianca. I thought this was an absolute fantastic match. You had people like Rhea Ripley, Dakota Kai, and Mia Yim in there, who I believe all three of them have been in a War Games match before. And you can tell that difference of experience between the women's match and the men's match, because the men's match had nobody had ever been in a War Games match. Maybe Kevin Owens, but sorry, what?
I believe Pete Dunne was in one as well,
in NXT.
So
actually, yeah, he was.
You could see. So you could see the difference between, having multiple people have run that match before and can speak to it and can talk about it and know it a little bit better than just having one person or, that can talk about it, to the point where they even talked. Paul Heyman rented out a Chicago steakhouse the night before, or Boston steakhouse, sorry, the night before, to discuss with the Bloodline how to properly strategize for War Games. And we saw that. The clip of Roman Reigns telling Jay or Jimmy to stand down and let Sammy go in, I believe has over 800 million views on YouTube right now, which is absolutely insane. Anytime the Bloodline do anything great, anytime the Bloodline have a YouTube video, it pops off. And you can tell the difference between the men's and the women's match. I believe the women put on a better match in terms of War Games, but the men's 5 stars all around for both of them. So let me know your thoughts, Showtime. I've been talking way too much.
Are you good, man?
So let me know your thoughts on the women's. Let me know your thoughts on the women's and the men's. Since we've been talking about both of them. The Bloodline did win versus the Brawling Brutes, Kevin Owens and Drew McIntyre. And like I said, the faces beat Damage Control.
So, for me, Matt, the biggest thing is, let me show you guys the difference from having a great match and then having a story inside of a match and telling a story in the ring. I think that's the biggest difference when you talk about the women's match. The women's match was about having a great match. They put a lot of spots in there. They did a lot of high, heavy movements. They did some great things. And it was a great match. The men's wasn't about that. The men's were telling a story because it was a different story they wanted to have inside of the ring. And I think that's why I've heard mixed emotions about, the War Games matches and how they worked, and some being like they're kind of slow. The men's didn't do as much. Guys, that's telling a story. I think the entire thing about the men's was just about telling a story. Sami Zayn was the person that everybody was focused on because that's what we wanted to see what was going to happen. So Sami and Kevin were really the big players in that whole thing. And let's just say, did you see how much of a beast Roman looked inside the cage as well when he was just sitting down staring? So it was everything they did in the men's match. There was a purpose to it. And when you're looking at trying to tell a story inside of the ring, that is exactly how you do it. Every movement, every look, everything you do, everything you say is a purposeful action, right? So there's an action that's done. Whereas the women was just a badass fight. I mean, they literally just fought. They were just beating the hell out of each other. And I love both of them from it. I thought both of them were really awesome. I love War Games. I've been a fan of War Games forever. And so this is just a WWE version of it. And I think that both of them put on a slobber knocker when it comes to how that works. The women, though, I feel like they did a lot more spots. And I don't know if WWE is just doing that because they need a lot of different like promos and different like this stuff to have for it. Because it felt like, you know, all they have is NXT to go off of. So I felt like they did a lot of crazy things just to be able to have that content to use later. In the women's, where the men's wasn't really for that part. But that's just something maybe that kind of weird to me when you look at both of them. But other than that, man, I thought they were awesome matches, man. I was actually very, very entertained. This was a pay-per-view for me that did not seem like it was 4 hours or how long. I think it was about 4 hours, right? So, yeah, it didn't seem like that at all, man. It went by very smooth. Both matches were awesome. I didn't get bored or tired at any one of those matches as well. I sat glued to it the entire time.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was fantastic. And you can tell that by how great the reviews have been from Survivor Series, how great the ticket sales, how great the streaming revenue was, how great the streaming attendance was. It goes all through it, how great of a pay-per-view it was. Yep. And the fact that we can get War Games now whenever. You know, Triple H has been on record saying that a lot of these matches, these big blow-off matches, War Games, Hell in a Cell, Last Man Standing, Extreme Rules, stuff like that, we're not going to see a pay-per-view for, because it doesn't make any sense. Things like, if you and I had a rivalry that lasted 3 to 6 months, I'm not going to be like, you know what, Showtime, it's fine. We've run this back so many times. I challenge you to an elimination chamber with 5 other people. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. But if I go, hey, I challenge you to War Games, bring 4 other people, I got 4 other people, you can make it happen. Or I challenge you to Hell in a Cell, Last Man Standing, tables, ladders, and chairs. That makes a lot more sense other than, like, you know what, we've been going about this all wrong. I challenge you to a Royal Rumble match. Doesn't carry the same weight, doesn't mean the same. So I like this aspect of what they're going with. It makes a lot of sense. I think it makes bigger match feel, and it makes storyline more important. And I think it's a good thing. So moving on past the War Games matches, we have Ronda Rousey versus Shotzi for the SmackDown Women's Championship match. The winner, Ronda Rousey, although Shotzi did put up a decent fight. Moving in from that, we have AJ Styles versus Finn Balor. AJ Styles did pick up the victory. Hopefully that is the end of the OC versus Judgment Day, but it's not. It's not. It's not going to be. And then quite possibly the biggest swerve of the night. I didn't even realize it was a triple threat match for the United States Championship, but you had Seth Rollins versus Bobby Lashley versus Austin Theory. And even though last week we talked about the burial of Austin Theory, my guy, Austin Theory is your United States champion. And the ultimate swerve, I'm all about it. This the swagger that has come out of Austin Theory in the last 2 weeks of him basically saying, I'm tired of being the next, I'm tired of being the future, I'm the now, the youngest U.S. champion in history, the youngest 2-time U.S. champion in history, the youngest Money in the Bank winner, future WWE heavyweight champion. I'm assuming we'll probably see him sometime soon, just get strapped to a rocket. And I'm all for it. This is the Austin Theory that we've missed from the indies. I'm all about it. Showtime, tell me what you think.
Hey, man, like I told people, y'all better put some respect on Austin Theory's name. I'm just telling y'all now. I told y'all from the beginning. I've been telling y'all forever. The man is a beast. He was awesome on the indie scene. He was awesome everywhere he's been. I love this Austin Theory. This is what I've been waiting for us to see, not the play one that Vince McMahon decided to come up with. This is who Austin Theory is, and I'm super here for it. I am excited to see what he does next. The man, if you want to take a person who's the next Randy Orton, if we're going to go that route, it looks like Austin Theory is taking John Cena and Randy Orton having a baby together. That is exactly what I think about when I see Austin Theory. The man can move like Randy, but he's built like John Cena. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how else you do that.
Just make him about a half a foot shorter.
Yeah. It's a big dude, too, for being like, 22, something like that? Like, he's super young. So, it's a big dude. So, I'm super excited for him. I think that becomes another player. Because I think right now in WWE, we have to figure out, we're transitioning, right? So, we have to figure out who's the next big players to take the ball and run with it next. And we have to determine that now so that next year Trix can start building these people up the correct way. Because we're starting to lose the Randy Orton in that.
But I think you already have that. You already have the Cody Rhodes. You already have the Kevin Owens, the Sami Zayn, Seth Rollins. And I get like Seth and Roman are the same age. They both debuted 10 years ago. You know, Cody's been around for longer than that, but it's a fresh face technically to the WWE in a way. You have guys like Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa, who have been there for a while and have been wrestling for a while, but they're guys that can take the torch. And granted, I don't see them being like a John Cena or a Roman or something like that, because people like that, like I said, are once-in-a-generation talent, and we're pretty much at the end of that generation. You know, so we got to start building that talent. What's down in NXT? You know, thinking about NXT, looking at a guy like Braun Breaker and his history, coming in as, you know, getting into NXT title situation, you know, pretty quickly. You know, you have the lineage that he has with the Steiner brothers and all that sort of stuff. So you can build him up for next year to be a guy that you could put a belt on him, but do you give him that year to get ready? I don't know. You know, that's something that we'll have to see and speak to the NXT experts about, if you will. But I did want to bring up Braun for a specific reason, because the next and the final two topics that we have, I'm going to combine them right now because I do want Showtime's opinions on these. I want Showtime's brain on this because, like I said, he is the NXT regular. He knows NXT back and forward way more than I do. And we do have a returning Dominik Dijakovic back in NXT. Looks absolutely phenomenal. And Reggie is now Scripps. So please explain what is going on here, because I don't understand his weird half man, half lucha mask. He looks like a jack-o'-lantern got mixed up with a luchador. But the floor is yours to explain what's going on in NXT. And honestly, Dijakovic came back for the NXT North American title. Like, why not just put him in the NXT title picture? He's already been there, done that for North American title.
I think so. For NXT, you know, let's start with Scripps. So I get that he came from the circus and stuff. I understand his background. But HBK, let me talk to you for a second, man. Dude, don't do this, man. Don't do this to my boy. Like, Reggie, I was there for his debut. First of all, they got the trampoline. I thought Sin Cara was coming out. I was super like, oh, my God, Sin Cara's coming back. It wasn't. Third of all, Reggie almost busted his ass trying to jump over the rope. So, you know, that's just a terrible spot anyway. I don't think anybody should be trying to trampoline in to a ring. It's just not a good look for anybody for it. The mask is ridiculous. It is stupid. I think it is disrespectful to a luchador as well. I'm not saying he's trying to be one, but still, everything about it is terrible. If you listen, the crowd was screaming Reggie the entire time anyway. So please take the mask off of him. You're going to kill my boy. He can barely see with that stupid mask on anyway. Like, take it off of him. Let's move on from this. Put him back to being Reggie. Or you can call him Scripps. I don't care. Just let the man be the man he was, because he was actually getting over on the main roster. And not that he's going to be great and be a champion, but, people generally like him. He's a nice, likable guy, and he has a lot of talent. So let's HBK, man. This is not one of your good ones, bro. I don't know if you came up with this or not, but because you're over NXT, we're talking to you. You missed. You took an L on this one. You ain't took too many L's yet, but this one's an L. On Dijak, I think right now you cannot put him against Braun. And the reason behind that is because you need to protect Braun for a little bit longer, let him get a little bit more under his belt, because I think that, to your point, he is the one that's going to be really next to go up. I think him and Carmelo are right there, ready to go. And I think Dijak is too good to have him lose right now to Braun, because you can't let him beat Braun right now until you're ready to move on from Braun. And I don't think he's ready to handle Braun yet inside of a ring. I don't think Dijak is the person you put there. I don't think Braun and Dijak, they're not the same. Dijak is a beast. And I think that what you're going to see from him is he's going to take the American title probably, and then he's going to elevate that with the level of skill he has, because the man puts on banger after banger after banger. And then when you're ready to move on from Braun, now we can have that interchange between each other, move on from there. Plus, you get Apollo there, and we haven't done anything with Apollo, and that's the reason I thought he came, was to challenge Braun. So I think now we're getting to that level and moving up. But I have to say one last thing, man. I'll turn it back over. This is a person in NXT that he gets a lot of hate because he's annoying. His voice, his face is punchable. And, he just really is. He is probably the best promo in NXT right now, and the one that gets the crowd going, because he talks so much. You guys did not get to hear him go after everybody in the crowd on NXT Tuesday, because it was not taped. It was actually on a commercial break. But Grayson Waller, y'all better watch out for this dude. I promise you, y'all watch out for this man. This man talked like you literally gave him a mic, and he just destroyed the Grayson Waller section. He literally destroyed his own section on the mic. Dude is gold. Like, everything about him is gold so far. So I'm telling you, watch for this man. This man is going to be something big on the main roster when he gets there. He's a love to hate guy. He has a very punchable face from it, but he's super good to be so green right now. But I will get a shout out. He did go yesterday, and he was at the tryouts, and he gave a great speech about being great and being your own person inside the ring. And yeah, you can clap for everybody, but once you get in the ring, it's about your time. And that's big for somebody who has been in the game for a couple months, right? So, I mean, that y'all better watch out for him. Mark my words from Showtime. Watch out for my boy, Grayson Waller. He's coming. The Matt Weinberg, back to you.
Well, hopefully it doesn't come too quick, Wow, no reaction whatsoever. I thought that was gold.
No. Good. I just, with my local NXT people with me, and they just got on me about scripts. So, that's okay. Sorry. Well, I'm sorry. They're yelling at me about scripts. The mask.
You're good. You're good. I fully agree. I got nothing to add, honestly. I'm very interested to see.
But Matt, so I got one of my great friends in here, John, and we're saying that it was his idea to be scripts. Did he ask to be the mask too? So then HBK should have said, hell no. Yeah, hell no. Like, sometimes people don't have good ideas. That was not a good one. Wasn't a good one.
Hey, it was just a debut. Hopefully he can turn it around and make something of it. Because, in all honesty, like, if the idea came from him, at least he's passionate about it. So he can make it work, Yes, I understand it's stupid. And like I said, he looks like a luchador had sex with a pumpkin. But I'm like I said, the best characters are always the characters that are themselves turned up to 11. And if he thinks that that's him turned up to 11, then let him run with it for a little bit. If not, then, in 6 to 9 months, he'll probably sustain an injury and, be moved on to something else.
Listen, as a manager, I have wrestlers come to me every day with ideas that I have to tell them it's stupid and no, we're not doing it. This was one we should have said no. This is stupid. You cannot do this. You can be scripts all you want. Keep the name. That's fine. But the luchador mask thing that you have on, the pumpkin, I don't know what that is. That's terrible. It is terrible. It didn't fit his face. I don't know what he was thinking. I still believe he couldn't see half the time as he's flipping around. I'm just saying. Like, Reggie's cool. You cool, my man. But that was
I get it. We're here. We are here for Reggie. We support Reggie. We just do not support scripts. With that being said, Showtime. We're closing in on that hour. And you do owe the people a Power 5. So I'm going to give you the floor for your Showtime Power 5.
Oh, the Matt Weinberg, how much I love the Showtime Power 5 because it highlights at least 5 wrestling people that are doing their thing right now in the wrestling community. So let's all get ready. Guys, Mr. Showtime's ready for his Power 5. So let's start with number 5. And we talked about this man earlier. He is a promo specialist. He is a legend of the game. He is still a beast to be reckoned with. And every time he is out anywhere by an audience, he's captivating. And that is no other than the man himself, Lord William Regal. Number 5. At number 4, we have the House of Black. I don't know if you guys have seen these guys come back. Man, they look mean as hell, and they are destroying people out there. And I love every bit of it. The House of Black comes back. I don't know the whole cult thing they're working on now, but I'm here for it, and I love it. So continue to do what you do. Guys are killing it. At number 3, we're going to go into NXT. We talked a lot about NXT, and I love it right there. You know what I mean? But really, I'm going to go with Carmelo Hayes. The man put on an absolute banger with West as well. And while we're on this, we're going to have West as number 2 for you as well. For that, it was a banger. And what you have to learn from these guys is that it doesn't matter the size. At the end of the day, when you know how to tell a story in the ring, that is all that counts. Guys, I am ready to see Carmelo move up. I hope it is soon, and I cannot wait to see what he does on that main roster. And then number 1, this one's a trio, and this is the first time I've actually seen them all together. But they are great together, and that is the Death Triangle. Guys, banger. I don't even know another word for this. You know what, man? I'm going to go with slobber knocker. That is the word I'm going to use for this. That's what I'm going to give them. They put on a slobber knocker against the Elite. When you look at Penta, Felix, oh, my God. These guys do things that I've never seen done in a wrestling ring in my entire life. So if you have not watched them, go ahead. I know they're doing a best of 7. And to be honest, I don't understand the reason to do a best of 7, but I'll watch all 7 matches because they entertain the hell out of me as well. So once again, guys, in the comments, do you believe in the Showtime Power 5? Are we doing it the right way? Are you seeing what I'm seeing as well? Because I believe in it, man. I believe really big in this, man. And I really love the Power 5, man. Because this is it. This is it. This is wrestling for you. If you want to know what wrestling is, go watch my Power 5. Back to you.
I'm speechless for once, and in a blue moon, I am speechless. With that being said, I have missed Pac. Glad to see that he's being utilized, and you have to go back the Death Triangle and the Elite. It's a Lucha Bros and Pac, right?
Yep.
And the Elite is the Young Bucks and Kenny. So you've seen the Young Bucks versus the Lucha Bros have absolutely some of the best matches and tag team matches of all time. So now you just add that third person into there, the fifth and the sixth man in there to make it, what it is. It's just going to elevate the match. It's going to give it an extra little bit of zhuzh, if you will. But with that being said, I'm going to leave you on this. I was sitting and having a conversation with my manager the other day, and I was talking to another employee, and we were I was giving out some advice, and they're saying, do you prefer to open or close the building? I said, man, I prefer to close. And they're like, why? And I said, I learned a little too late in life that you need to be selfish in order to be selfless. And what I mean by that is you got to take care of yourself before you can be the best for the other people around you. I know if I don't have my morning, I don't have my coffee, my time to meditate, my time in the gym, I'm not the best partner. I'm not the best son. I'm not the best friend. I'm not the best business partner. I'm definitely not the best manager because things get, really quick. And my boss looked at me and said, wow, I'm start calling you the wise man. So there you have it. The Matt Weinberg, the wise man of this generation. My life is complete. Paul Heyman is an idol of mine, not only from a brain, a promotion aspect, a marketing aspect, but just as a fellow absolutely Jewish God, if you will. That made my whole entire life. And I'm going to leave you all with that. It's been a pleasure. It's been an honor. Wise man out.
Mic drop. I really don't have anything else to say. I mean, you just killed it at the end. I don't really have much else to do with that. But there is a certain thing that I want to talk about, Matt. You know what time it is yet? You know what time it is?
I have a 8:49 p.m. on December 1st of 2022 Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with my watch, man, because I'm tapping it and the time's coming up and it's saying it's showtime. It's really saying it's showtime. I'm just saying it is. The watch doesn't lie.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, as always, share with your friends, share with your family, share with the random guy that gave you his number at the bar last week. That creepy dude that you didn't want any contact with. Send him us. We like creepy dudes.
I don't agree with that. I'm not really sure where he's going with that one. Kate, no. Showtime does not like people. No.
And what I mean by that is congratulations, Dexter Loomis, on signing your Monday Night Raw contract. Ladies and gentlemen, I've had the best time ever today. This just keeps on getting better. Like I said below, please leave a 5-star review. That is the way to help this channel, help this podcast grow. Showtime needs some more cars. He needs some more bottles for Club Showtime. We apparently need to now pay to have the NXT Elite joining us soon. So please share this with your friends, your family. Leave a 5-star review. Find us on social media. It's at It's Showtime Wrestling. Everywhere you can find us. Y'all have a great week.